But
Nice.
another bike showed up. Well, I went and collected it, actually. Another bike arrived at MOTOBOB HQ, and that's the new KTM 790 Duke, which, I think we've got a little bit to talk about here because it's their kind of new budget-friendly middleweight offering. It's an old model. The 790 Duke existed before the 890 Duke, but they brought it back and just brought the price down because now it's made by CF Moto, which is in China, one of their partners. And Tim recently went out on the launch of the CF Moto range, so you had the opportunity to ride a lot of them. You came back saying you were quite impressed by the build quality on those, weren't you?
Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, I was. I was going into it skeptical, I would say, and then they looked good. It was a good quality finish, and they were nice bikes to ride. And it left room to impress. Let's put it that way. So there was nothing on it that I could sort of see looked budget or like they'd rushed it or just, for the sake of it. It was good quality. And they rode well. The only thing for me was the throttle needed a bit of refinement, but, that'll come, and that's easy enough to fix as well.
So the 790 Duke, when I picked it up, I got to say, I had a look over the bike, and I don't know, if it's just assembled there or some of the components are made there. I need to really get my head around that before I do the review, but it just feels so similar to, an 890 Duke or the previous 790 Duke.
Yeah.
Like the buttons, the dash, the bodywork feels similar. They've always felt quite plasticky to me anyway, KTMs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you were taking something that was very, like a retro, let's say like the Bonnevilles or whatever, where there's a lot of metal and the feel is meant to be kind of slightly more old school and luxurious. If you took that and tried to make it in China, maybe you'd come into problems, but the KTMs might be ideal. They've always been lightweight, quite modern materials. Yeah, happy to use plastics. Yeah, I'm super impressed as well. I know it's made to KTM standards and all that, and obviously the proof is in the pudding of having it, ridden over a year or something and see what kind of reliability experiences owners have. But mate, I'm very impressed. I quite want to take it to Superbike Factory because they do have some 790 Dukes in stock from 2 years ago. Just put them next to each other and see really if there's any visible differences. So I might do that for my review. But also, can I just say, what a ridiculously fun bike to ride. It's like 2.5 hours across the Cotswolds to get to Silverstone from here, pretty much. I took my absolutely shagged SV650S because normally I use my Tiger 800 to get around to pick up press bikes, and I leave it at their garages. But that's at Ducati because of the Street Fighter.
Right. Okay.
And then I was like, how am I going to get to KTM today? And my only option was this SV650S, which I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast much, but it's a bike that I bought in order to kind of fix it up on the channel and do a bit of a build series, but just haven't had time to start that yet. And we're still trying to find the right sponsors and partners to do it, etc. It was my only option, but it's been dropped on one side. The levers are being swapped for shorties. It's got those big, massive Oxford hot grips. The mirrors are not being tightened up. So I kept pushing them out and it kept flapping back in.
Delicious.
It's got the exhaust system as well, which is basically
I'm still, my ears are still ringing.
Yeah.
Didn't it set off your car alarm when you started it?
Yeah. It's just it's like a really stubby cam with the baffle out, and there's no cat because the cat was in the silencer, I think, on those bikes. It was an experience riding that 2.5 hours, mate. And it was fine. It's actually really good. It's such a beautiful engine, that 650 from Suzuki. And it's going to make a great bike at some point, but it just needs everything doing. The suspension needs servicing because it feels a bit notchy and just doesn't feel good. The brakes need bleeding and maybe new pads and stuff. The tires are ropey as well. They're so old that they've gone really hard,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And they're not even good ones anyway.
No.
And then I jumped on the 790. Anything's going to feel good after that amount of time on my bike. But it's just that we talked a lot about throttle application and maps. And I think what they do so well, the KTMs, is just make it super fun in that first half of the throttle delivery. Because I did notice when I was getting up to motorway speeds, if you fully pin it open, there's not loads and loads of power there in the same way that you do have that with the Street Fighter V4S, of course, that I've been riding. It's got twice as much power, so naturally it's going to feel a lot faster.
Yeah.
But still, the immediacy when you just open the throttle and it's not snatchy, it just bloody shoves forward as soon as you twist it, and it makes it an absolute hoot to ride. And very upright though, I noticed, like the bars are here, so you just kind of sat upright on this very lightweight little thing, and then just twist and bomb, and it really put a big smile on my face, to a point where now I'm considering how do I anchor this and review it. I'm not going to say I was going to buy one.
No, right, yeah, I thought you were going that route. Like, that SV is going to go. I'm going to just keep this one.
The SV is going to be probably the best motorcycle ever made once I've finished with it. But yeah, I've talked a lot on the channel about the Honda Hornet and how at $6,999 launch price, it's great value for money. And they've given that a very lively throttle map, and it you know, it pops and burbles at the exhaust, and the front wheel will come up, and it's very nimble and agile, and they've tried to make it, I think, really fun, and it's a lot of fun, that bike. $7,999 now though for the KTM, and it obviously is that little bit more bonkers. And now I'm thinking, I've been saying the Hornet's great at $6,999. Well, where does the KTM fit into this though? And like, does that Chinese build mean anything? Because if you look at it on paper, it's such an exciting bike to ride, lots of fun. If you like orange and you like the looks, then you could justify that extra grand versus the Honda.
I would say in their favor as well that CF Moto have put a 4-year warranty, I think, on their bikes. So if they're confident enough to slap 4 years on there, then presumably the same thing with KTM, and they need to make sure the KTMs are going to work. I don't know what the warranty is like, but I mean, like, they're not going to want to, if they made some shoddy 790s and they went out and they all got recalled, or, you know, people kept bringing them back, then KTM's not going to continue partnering with them, are they? So it's in their favor to make the best product they can. So I'd be surprised if it's going to be any less reliable, let's say, than the older 790.
I wonder if it says about the warranty on their website. I'm just trying to look. It'd be interesting if they also did that. Let's see. KTM 2023 790 warranty. 24 month, not 24 years. I think
24. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I think initial impressions are that the build quality feels appropriate for a KTM and kind of up there. So I'm pretty impressed with it to start, and we'll just see how we get on. There'll be a full review on the channel.